I don't trust him. I have my cat, Bertoli, and he will be helping us today because that's what kitties do, right, buddy? Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me again today. My name is Holland, and I'm here to share my knitting with you. This is my 2-week update. The last one I updated was about 2 weeks ago. Today, I'm here to update you again. No Bert. I tried having Bert over here because if he's over here, he's being watched. If he's over there, he's potentially playing with the yarn that I set out to show you guys. Unfortunately, he has a really bad habit of eating things, and I don't want him to eat the yarn that I have because that's awful. When I was working on my cat skull sweater, I paid no mind to him because my cat Pretty Girl, she would sit with me and knit, and she was such a good girl. But when I was knitting my cat skull sweater and he was around, I'd be knitting to find that he was eating the yarn as I was knitting it. And not in the funny way where you get a strand and it's wet, like in the way where the yarn is cut because it is down his throat. So I have been really trying ever since I got him to keep my yarn organized because I don't like him eating my yarn for some reason. He also likes to eat things that are like plastic, so my plarn isn't safe either. He doesn't seem to like eating natural fibers. So far, this sweater, what am I wearing? So far, this sweater is safe, but I don't trust him. I don't trust him around my t-shirts. I don't trust him around my plastic bags. I love him, but I don't trust him. I keep looking off camera as if you can see him. Maybe I'll be able to get a shot of him without ruining my setup. You gotta risk it for the biscuit.
There he is. There's the criminal. Right there. He's sitting on the sweater. He's sitting next to the projects.
I don't trust him. Yeah, I messed up my setting. I messed up my setup showing you him, but that's okay, you're worth it. Most of the time, he's a good boy. Today, let me show you what I'm drinking. I probably can't show you, it's in the cup. Black coffee. I like black coffee. It's simple, it's smooth, it's nice, it wakes you up. It's black coffee. I've got a whole story about black coffee, but I think you're here to talk about yarn and not my coffee. Maybe I'll tell you a different day if you're interested. Like, if you guys just want like a storytelling day, I can do a storytelling day for you. But today, for you, I have a finished object. I'm wearing it. It is the finished object that I am wearing. This is my Belgium sweater. I'm so pleased that it's done. The last time I saw you, I was finishing or working on the sleeves. I also reworked the hem. Do you remember when the hem used to be scalloped? Now it's just flat. I like it like this a lot better. It makes me feel less like I'm Polly Pocket because I'm not Polly Pocket. I'm myself. I loved the scalloped hem for like a little girl, like if I was knitting a little girl a dress or, you know, a cute little girl tank top, but I don't like the scalloped hem for myself, a grown person. This sweater is using Ombelle Fonty. Ombelle Fonty is a yarn that I picked up when I was in Belgium last year for Christmas. I used 5 balls of the 5 corresponding colors of this bright orange, this creamsicle dreamsicle orange. This is a great transition color because when it's next to the orange, it looks orange. When it's next to the pink, it's got a pink hue in it. And then, I don't know, blush pink and lipstick pink. The cuffs The neckline and the hem all feature a 1x1 rib. The color work of the sweater is these cute little scallops. I love these cute little scallops because I bought 5 colors. I wanted to have the colors in the sweater without it being a blocked, like a color block. You know what I mean? I didn't want stripes. I wanted something else. So I whipped up the drawing for these little scallops instead. I love them. I think they're fantastic. I think they're great. The thing about these scallops that I didn't do that you should do when you're knitting color work, I didn't size up. Do you size up your needles for color work? I didn't size up my needles for the color work. So if I do like the Hulk, like grr, it feels just a little bit tight along my back because the floats are there, but that's okay. I'm just gonna deal with it. This yarn is a mohair. I'll put the stats in over here, but I don't remember. You know, I have a ball tag somewhere. Ha! I do. I kept it. It's rare of me to be this organized. The sweater that I'm wearing, my Belgium sweater, I call it a Belgium sweater because I got it from Belgium. This sweater is 75% mohair, it is 20% wool, and it is 5% polyamide. I'm imagining the polyamide is for the core because you have to give it structure. Oh, this yarn was actually made in France. That's kind of cool. I got it in Belgium, was made in France. The yarn ball recommends using needles 3.5 to 4 millimeters. I used 6 millimeter needles. I used 5 millimeter needles, not 6. So this is US size 8. So the needles I used were a little bit larger than recommended, but that is how you get this nice open gauge. I feel like it's flowy enough. I like how low the V-neck is. That's what I'm going for. I like how open the gauge is. It's flowy enough. This is going to be an excellent like early spring sweater. Can I call it a sweater if the sleeves don't go all the way down to the wrist? This is going to be a great early spring garment because it's warm. It's warm, but it still provides airflow, and that's something that I really like about it. I also do like that the sleeves don't go all the way down to my wrist. I was planning on the sleeves to go all the way down to my wrist. When I was mathing out how much yarn I had left, I figured I had about enough yarn per ball per sleeve to knit 22 inches of the flat color. No, not inches. Oh my god, could you imagine 22 inches per color? That'd be a lot. 22 rows. I thought that I had enough yarn for 22 rows of each color, not including this color work. 4 rows. 4 rows of color work. Turns out I had enough yarn to do 22 rows of the color, including the 8 rows of color work. So my math didn't math for me, but it was close enough. I just didn't get to the point. So instead of having full sleeves, I got these really neat, they're like half sleeves, 3/4 sleeves. I love it. It's the perfect length. The sleeves are just straight. There is no shaping to them. And frankly, there's no shaping to the rest of the sweater either. It's just a straight knit sweater. Usually when I do cuffs and hems and collars, I will size down to do the ribbing. That way it cinches it up just a little bit. It gives it just a little bit more elasticity. But this one I didn't, because I didn't want them to be cinched up. I just wanted it to lay flat. I do not like the rolled hem look. That is not for me. That is not what I like. I want a hem, I want a cuff, I want a collar that lays flat. The other thing that I tried doing back when it was warm out, I was sitting outside on my swing chair and I was trying to do like the Italian bind off for the collar. I was trying to do the Italian bind off, but because this is a mohair, it was getting really chunky. It was getting kind of gross. So I did just a normal, I don't know what you call it, like a crocheted bind off or a normal bind off. I didn't learn with this project, but I knew when you're binding off that you need to bind off so loosely. And I bound off very loosely enough for the collar. For the cuffs and the hem, I didn't bind off quite as loosely as I probably should have because they are just ever so a little bit tight. If that bothers me, I can undo it and redo it because I already undid and redid the hem from the scallops to the lay flat hem. So if it bothers me that much, I can redo it. As of right now, I'm not gonna let it bother me. It's not a big deal. The other thing about this is it sheds. It's a hairy sweater. This sweater also features raglan increases. You can see them right here. Nice raglan increases because I like them. Raglan is one of my favorite constructions right now. It is easy, it is quick. I like that the V-neck line of this sweater makes it that I didn't have to do German short rows or short row shaping for the back, so that's really nice and easy. For the neckline, I did my increases starting at this raglan here and this raglan here, and I did the V-neck increases every 4 rows. Before, I used to do them every like 2 rows, but that would give me a half as short V-neck. So it would have been here, which is more tight than I want it to be. I like a nice open neck. I like to have room. I like to feel like I'm not choking. This sweater right now, I am wearing it pre-blocking. I blocked the body before, so I guess that means I blocked the top half of the sleeves too. But I haven't blocked all of it together yet. I did notice that blocking makes the body relax a little bit, in that these stitches are more open. They're more, they're more open. Versus these stitches, you can see how it's kind of tight. They're not relaxed yet. So I'm excited to block this soon, and we will see how it turns out when it's done blocking. Very convenient that it's time to block this, because that means I can also wash my partner's socks. He's been wearing them. He said he was unsure how to wash knitted garments. And so it's time to wash these. He doesn't wear them to work or anything. He just wears them around the house. These are the first good pair of socks I made, and they're the best pair of socks I made. I'm not a sock person, so I'm not great at knitting socks. But I want to learn more because I have some sock yarn upstairs that I want to be socks. That is my tour of my Belgium sweater. I love it. The things I don't love about the sweater, it's itchy. It's an itchy sweater. I apparently am itchy when it comes to mohair. So wearing this right now, I feel like I'm inside a tumbleweed. I'm itchy. But I'm gonna deal with it for now because I made this sweater. I really hope that blocking it out helps reduce the itchiness of it. If blocking it out doesn't reduce the itchiness of it, I'm going to have to buy a camisole to wear under it. And I don't want to do that because I don't want to. My goal for this sweater was to have it finished before February because I wanted to wear it for Valentine's Day. Doesn't it look very Valentine's Day to you? And it's done. So because my goal was to finish this before February, my other projects got put on hold. If you have anything to say about my Belgium sweater, pop it in the comments, because I want to hear what you have to say about it. I want to hear your questions. I want to hear your comments, if they're nice. If they're not nice, reword it into constructive criticism. But that's my finished object. I'm so excited. We're moving on to works in progress. That means I have to disturb the bird. He's laying so cute on it. Totally. My work in progress I have right now, this one got put on hold for a little bit. Now that I'm not on hold anymore, my work in project, why do I keep saying that? My work in project, Jesus Christ, progress. My work in progress is my friend's fisherman sweater. This is a delightful, chewy, squishy, scrumptious fabric. The yarn is Anchor Bay by Cascade Yarns. This yarn is 50-50 merino and cotton. So it is airy. No, it's not. So it's breathable. This sweater is going to be a great, I think, early spring sweater, maybe late winter, early winter. This could also be a fantastic sweater for the summertime when you're off the beach, the sun is setting, that cold wind is coming through, you're getting some ice cream at the end of the day, and you're just a little bit chilly because your hair is still wet from swimming in the beach. This is a great yarn for that. I'm using a 1x1 fisherman's rib. The fisherman's rib is on both sides. What else? When I was knitting it flat, the fisherman's rib was pretty easy to figure out because you purl one, knit one below every row. But once you get to knitting it in the round, every other row is different. So one row is knit one, purl one below. The next row is knit one below, purl one. So you just have to be able to read your stitches. You just have to be able to remember where you left off. This is working up pretty quickly considering. Typically, like I said with this one, my V-necks are an every 4-row increase. This V-neck is technically an every 8-row increase because these fisherman stitches are shorter than a typical knit stitch. So to get a similar depth, no, this depth is actually quite shorter. So that kind of gives you a hint. Every 8 rows is still about half as much as every 4 rows. Anyway, the neckline increases are every 8 rows technically, because I already told you why. The sleeves are a little deep, which is okay. We don't mind that. I have about 4 more inches to go on the bottom, including the hem. So I'm very excited about that. I should be able to whip through that pretty quickly. It's not going to be too much of a problem. I put a stitch marker here to be my, what is that? I don't know. I put a stitch marker here so that I know when I've knit 2 inches versus if I don't put a stitch marker down, I don't know where the 2 inches are. 2 more inches of fisherman's rib and then 2 more inches for the hem. So very excited about that. When that is complete, when I hand it back to my friend to get a try on, then we will decide if she wants it to be a long sleeve sweater or if she wants it to be more like a sweater vest. If it's a sweater vest, then this project will be done. Also, if it's a sweater vest, we were talking about doing matching shorts, which would be very cute. I love both ideas, if it's a long sleeve sweater or if it's a sweater vest. If this sweater decides to be a long sleeve sweater, then it will probably have balloon sleeves. I like balloon sleeves. I think they look cute. This fabric would be very heavy for that, so they would be very billowy. They'd be very deep, big balloon sleeves. I can start picking this up today. my friend's commissioned fisherman's rib sweater. I have another work in progress that I actually forgot about. It's amazing what stress can do to you. This is going to be a bag of bags. This is actually a crochet project. I haven't crocheted in a while, and I actually knew how to crochet well before I knew how to knit well. A quick history of my crafting knowledge. I learned your basic knit stitches when I was pretty little, because whose grandma doesn't have knitting supplies at home? So she had her knitting supplies out, and I was like, Grandma, show me. So she showed me a super, super basic knit, super, super basic purl. And I remember when I was very, very little, I made the worst square in the world, because it wasn't a square, it was like a trapezoid, because I kept splitting my stitches and I'd just see a loop on the needle, so I'd knit it. So this thing expanded greatly. Didn't knit again for quite a while. Fast forward into high school, I had some knitting needles at home. A friend's mom, who's an avid crocheter, gave me some yarn, and I actually knit these like little fingerless mitts. I knew nothing about increases and decreases at the time, but I was so proud of these fingerless mittens. There was actually a teacher in school. She was so mean. I don't care what anyone else has to say. She was vicious. She was also like the Sunday school director when I went to Sunday school. She was so mean, and I swear she hated kids, and I swear she hated me. And being a child, you're very proud of the work that you've done. So I'm wearing them, I'm showing them off, and this woman snatches these mittens from me, and she is looking at them. And she's like, wow, you didn't drop any stitches. And I didn't know what that meant in my head, but I'm like, all right, thanks, I guess. So these were actually the first things I ever knit. Really cool. They're gone. I have no idea what happened to them. We moved around a lot when I was younger, so they're gone. They're long gone. Somewhere around the same time I knit those, I picked up crocheting, because like I said, my best friend's mom was a crocheter, and she showed me your basic crochet stitches. She had a whole room of yarn, and her only rule, she said, just show me what you want before you take it, to, make sure that it's not something that she wants, which is fair. Is there anything better than shopping at mom's house when you're like a poor kid and you have no money? So you just go shopping at mom's yarn store. So she showed me crocheting, and this was one of my moments that was really great. This is a deep, dark, like a formative thing that she said to me. She said at first she was jealous about how fast I was able to pick up crocheting. And she stopped herself. She rewrote those thoughts, and she said, no, I'm proud because I got to teach her. I was like, oh my gosh, isn't that just such a beautiful moment? But that's the quick history of me learning how to crochet and knit. And for the longest time, I was crocheting way more than I was knitting. I was crocheting baby blankets. I was crocheting little amigurumis. I wasn't finishing a whole lot because I like the process more than I liked the finished piece. So I'm picking up crocheting again after going on a knitting spree. And I'm crocheting this. This is a bag of bags. I had an awful collection of plastic bags because I live in Michigan, and at this point, Michigan still gives you plastic bags for free when you're checking out at the grocery store. Some states I've been to, you don't get bags for free. You have to pay like 10 cents per grocery bag, which is great because it encourages you to use a reusable bag, but super annoying if you don't have a reusable bag. So right now in Michigan, we still get free grocery bags, and I had a collection. I took a bunch of grocery bags, and this was on Christmas. I laid them flat, I folded them up, and I cut them into strips. I guess I should show you what I mean. I took them, I laid them flat, and I cut them into strips like this. With this strip, I find the working end of this, it's plarn because it's plastic. So I find the end of the last piece, I loop it through, and I do one of these like half hitch knots. I'm sorry, that's probably really loud for you, but I do that. And now my yarn strands is bigger. I will crochet with that. This is simply a granny square pattern, and I'm just increasing and increasing and increasing. I've got lots of Meyer bags, and I've also got lots of black bags. So this will eventually be a bag. I'm taking bags and I'm making a bag. So this one I'm calling my bag of bags. I started this project on Christmas morning. My partner was making Christmas dinner in the kitchen, and I was cutting apart hundreds of plastic bags. This was the last project that my cat Pretty Girl was really helping me with. She was just hanging out and supervising. You know how they do? I didn't know she was sick yet because she was just chilling, doing her normal thing. So I think I forgot about this project because I went through so much with her passing and her getting sick. So I kind of put this down and forgot about it. But that's another work in project I'll have to pick up and finish. I think it'd be cool to have this done before the summertime. Crochet usually goes quicker than knitting, in my opinion, so I should have this done before the summertime. My bag of bags. Oh, the other thing with my bag of bags, I love my Susan bait hook. Susan bait hooks are an inline hook versus a tapered hook. I prefer the inline hook, and this one is a 6mm or a US size 10. Nice big hook for nice thick plarn. Those were my 2 works in progress. Haha, not works in project. The final thing I have to talk about today, I purchased my first ever pattern. Usually when I'm knitting or crocheting, I don't use a pattern because I don't know how to read. But I purchased my first ever pattern, and it's so easy. It's so easy. You should purchase it. You should be a part of this movement. It is wonderful. I purchased the Melt the Ice hat. I'm super excited about this, and I'm now trying to figure out what yarn I should use. The pattern requests that you use a red yarn, and it's also nice because the pattern lets you choose what gauge yarn you want to use. If you want to use a worsted, if you want to use a DK, there's another option in there, but I forgot. Buy the pattern and figure it out. They request about 200 yards of yarn, but I'm just gonna do what I have. I'm just gonna do what I can. The 2 yarns I have to use for this project, because I'm just using stash yarn, I don't want to go to the store and buy more yarn for this project because I don't want to. You gotta use up your stash. Are these 2. This one is more of a pink red. It's cute. It's got some little like tweedy nips in it. This is Barocco Remix, and it is 100% recycled fibers. This is a worsted weight yarn. So is this. I was gonna use a worsted weight because worsted weights go quickly. The gauge recommended is a 5mm needle, which is great because I've got tons of them. That's one of the yarns I have. Because it's recycled fabric, oh, there is. It's got 30% nylon, 27% cotton, 24% acrylic, 10% silk, ooh, and 9% linen. So this is actually really good yarn. I should look into this more. I don't think there's a price tag on it. Yeah, I should look into this more. This would be nice for a summer project, maybe. I could use this. Or I could also use this one. This is also Barocco. This is Ultra Alpaca. It was $15. This one has the price tag on it. I got both of these yarns when I was doing a yarn crawl in the summertime. It's not red, but it's not brown either. It's like a brown-red mix. So I could use this yarn. This yarn is much softer because it's alpaca. This one is also a worsted weight. This one also recommends using 5mm needles. And it's so interesting to me. They're the same weight, but the yarns together just look a little different. Oh, I like this. This is pretty yarn too. Initially, I wanted to use this yarn to make one of my woodlings caps, and I might, but I might not. We'll see. Either way, it's probably going to be a hat. This one is 50% alpaca, 50% wool. But what do you think? Tell me what you think. To make this melt the ice hat, should I use this brown-red alpaca, or should I use this pink-red recycled mix? Let me know. I'm super excited. I think this hat is going to knit up pretty quickly. I'm leaning more towards this one, but you let me know, okay? That is really all I have for you today. Thank you for joining in. I hope you have a good day. I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say about what I have to say. I think I'm going to finish my coffee, and then when I'm done with that, I'm going to go swimming. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in 2 weeks.